I like him. I like him a lot.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
So today we're talking about Larry Bird. Okay, like honestly, I do question this, okay? I tried to find anything about Brady Manek and see if he looked up to Larry Bird at all. I did not find anything. So if you guys, if you know, please let me know. But I love this look, okay? I absolutely love it. Now, obviously, it's changed, okay? He no longer rocks this look, but I do love it nonetheless. But yes, we're talking about Brady Manek. The more I watch him play, the more and more I'm impressed. And yeah, I kind of question, like, how would he fit on a San Antonio Spurs roster? And I came to the conclusion he would fit fairly well. So like I always do, I'm going to look at the stats, and then I'm going to give you my overall impressions and thoughts about him, maybe a little bit of information that I've seen, and then what we're going to go into is the pros and cons and see if I agree with them at all. So first and foremost, as promised, let's go into his stats. So point wise, 15.2, 5.9 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 49.3 field goal percentage. Him going to North Carolina was a beautiful and smart move. But overall, yeah. So looking throughout even the tournament, or if you look at even through the season, he has been pretty consistent as far as what they need of him. One thing that I've noticed of him, you know, throughout the season and watching a little bit of North Carolina is the fact that this man, I have to admit, he takes a lot of threes. Like, they lean on him heavily when it comes to threes, and it's not necessarily a great thing, but it does speak volumes of what kind of shooter he is and what kind of shooter he's capable of being. But sometimes it does slip up. Sometimes he can be pretty inconsistent. But overall, throughout the tournament and the games that I've seen, it seems as if he really comes when they really need him. Pause. But look, he shows up when they need him. So just some of his recent games. Obviously, if you watched the Duke game, that was an incredible game, and he hit some really big shots. That corner three was just beautiful. And one thing as well that I wanted to point out is, and it's going to be a flaw, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, but he had 3 blocks in that game. He really showed up when they needed him the most. This was the biggest stage, possibly, well, not possibly, this was the biggest stage of his career. One of the best games potentially in NCAA history as far as Duke going against North Carolina. It's kind of a big deal in the Final Four. And he showed up like he was not nervous whatsoever. He was there to contest shots. And even when one of his, the big man kind of went away, he was still there to kind of show what he's capable of and make some really big plays. Not only that, he had the task of guarding Banchero, which is not an easy task, but I will say that he did fairly well. So before this game, I will go ahead and say I was not crazy about his defense. I still don't think his defense is up to par as far as going into the NBA, but overall he's shown that if you absolutely need him to, he can make some key plays on the defensive end and show up. So I love that. But overall, what is he? What type of player he is? If you don't know anything about Brady Manek, he is a sharpshooter. And please, guys, please, okay? I'm very open. I'm not some cocky, arrogant person when it comes to talking about these players. I'm going to miss some things. And when it comes to college, I'm fairly new to watching a lot of college, okay? I'm a Spurs fan. Over the years, I haven't really had to worry about who we drafted, okay? I'll be honest. But look, please, if you have any thoughts, if you have anything you want to add, do it in the comments. But overall, that's what I see him as, is a purely sharpshooter. Now, here's my overall thoughts about him. What is it about him that I like, and what stands out to me? To me, with his lack of defensive ability, but you know, when you absolutely need him, he can do it. But lack of defensive ability, he has quite a bit of strength. Not really, but he's primarily a catch and shoot big. And with that being said, who does he remind me of? He reminds me of Matt Bonner. He's almost a mirror image of Matt Bonner, to be honest with you. And I read up a little bit about him just to see more of his personality. And looking through, apparently he is a jokester. Like, he's a guy that people initially do not see him as someone who will play around or someone who's fun to be around. But once you get to know him a little bit better, apparently he's hilarious. And scrolling down, and one thing that I wanted to point out the most, and this is what I absolutely love, is that he hates to lose. So here is a excuse me. Here is a quote from his brother in which it says, "We take some beatdowns. We lose 30 some games. And Brady hated to lose. My dad's message was always, hey, this is going to make you better. Don't get frustrated. Just keep playing hard." From then to now, I think he's always done a great job of doing that. So overall, this is some few years back, but overall, yes, there's this continuous theme that he hates to lose. And it was really shown on display versus Duke. I mean, that man was very, very intense throughout that entire game, completely engaged, did not miss a beat. And look, it seemed almost as if, I mean, energy-wise, not so much, but it seemed almost as if this was a regular season game, how far he was into the trenches, okay? Now, he did hit or miss some free throws down the stretch, but overall, look, just his game, his play, what you will be depending from him, what would you be needing from him? Look, he's going to be that. He hasn't missed a beat, and he knows his role, and he's trying his best to master it. So now let's go into the pros and cons. As always, I go to NBA Scouting Live because I think that they're pretty doggone good, and they're always updating their website. So I'm going to see if there's any pros and cons that I disagree with, and then we'll look at the summary of what they have to say about Brady Manek. So pros: very good shooter, especially from deep. Yes. Excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. Yes. Moves well off the ball on offense. Yes. Adequate defender, and that's what I was saying. He's not a great defender, but when you absolutely need him, I've seen him show up. Above average athlete, I don't know about that. I don't know where they're getting that one from. I haven't seen above average athlete, not sure. Has good hands, yes. One thing I didn't mention as well is, yeah, sometimes, at least what I've seen, is he'll make some pretty bad turnovers. I didn't mention that. Even though his turnover rating is about 1.5 overall, there's been some times where I'm like, oh, what were you doing there? Like, it's some really bad ones here and there. But overall, I guess that's not like a huge issue. All right, so moving on. Cons: struggles to consistently create his own shot. Yes, he needs to improve his passing ability. Can be too passive on offense. I don't know about this. Can be too passive on offense. I guess sometimes he does kind of slip up, especially early in games. It's more so from what I've seen is second half, he kind of lights it up. Not an elite rebounder. Struggles to guard quicker players. Well, yeah, that comes with that, to me, that lack of athleticism and just being an adequate defender. And I will say this as well. When it says struggles to guard quicker players, in today's NBA, man, you kind of need it. Like a lot of modern big men in the NBA can guard fairly well 1 through 5. Like the really good ones can guard 1 through 5. I mean, even if they're guarding a point guard, they won't get 100% stung. Now, obviously, 80% of the time they probably should be, but you know, those really good defenders, they're kind of a combo. Even if you're thinking of somebody like Draymond Green, for instance, he's more of like a modern big. He can guard almost any position. All right, moving on. Not an elite athlete. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so here's the summary. Brady Manek is a skilled, sharp-shooting forward that excels at knocking down jumpers to provide floor spacing for his team on offense. He is a tall shooter that can create favorable mismatches for his team due to possessing solid size and shooting ability, and he also has good hands, which enables him to catch lobs to finish plays above the rim. He will need to improve in the other facets of the game, but his jump shot could allow him to make an NBA team roster. And with that being said, the more and more I see, it's pretty much this right here. Second round to undrafted. I'm pretty confident he's going in the second round. I don't think he'll be undrafted. Now, with that being said, how would he fit the San Antonio Spurs? If he were to make the San Antonio Spurs, I would absolutely love it, because it seems as if we're really trying to go in that direction of having shooters. We need some big shooters, whether it be Jock Landale, whether it be Doug McDermott. The San Antonio Spurs know that they do not need to lack that. And once time goes by, okay, and your boy Doug McDermott is no longer with us, having a guy like this with Josh Primo and having Joe Wieskamp with Josh Primo could really help the team as far as space flooring, and his ability to kind of turn it from 0 to 100 in really high stress situations, I think gives him a little bit more value than your average sharpshooting big. So you guys let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm not like a genius when it comes to draft. I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to get better at it. But overall, I really like what I see from him. I think that he'll be a very good asset in the NBA. And you know, if he went to the San Antonio Spurs, I'll be happy with it. The man is a borderline beast. Okay, so I'll give it to you guys later, man. If you want to support the channel, as always, only $2 per month. Patreon, YouTube members, and deuces.